Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Associated Guests. I, as always, am your host, Alfie Animus, here at the Bear in Mind channel. Today, we're going to just take a second to take a look at the Alien Isolation sequel teaser. They haven't announced an actual name yet. I would even be okay if it's Alien Isolation 2, as long as it's close enough to the previous, while making some good updates for quality of life in the game. I just want another good Alien game. That first one's so good. I literally want to play it every year, but I know that's not all I can stream, and it's so long, I can't justify playing it if I don't stream it. So I will still play it every year, and just stream it every other year, I guess. But anyway, and then after that, we'll get into what happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend. Let's get into it. Oh my God. All right.
Our quintessential.
Living up to living up to the word teaser in its full form there. Fully tease. Fully. But anyway. Let's wait, what's that? Why does downloader keep, have y'all had this trouble, like downloader just keeps popping up on your shit? It's driving me nuts. But anyway, so over the weekend, if you don't know, someone else tried to attempt to kill the president. Why? Because according to a lot of these fuckers on TikTok, someone's got to do it, right? Who's gonna do it is what everyone says. Who's gonna do it? At least until this morning. But let's get a little bit of Nux here, and then we'll go into some of the TikTok retards.
You missed again, and now you're gonna get destroyed. They keep trying. It's unbelievable. It's honestly shocking. Every single time it happens, it's equally shocking. And the same bad actors act in exactly the same ways. But as it says in Proverbs 21:30, there is no wisdom, no insight, no plan that can succeed against the Lord. So last night, another attempted assassination on Donald Trump happened, where the entire left celebrated it and simultaneously claimed it was faked. Anyway, this is exactly when it happened. Right, so this dude's doing a magic trick. Very entertaining. You could literally hear the gunshots.
Oh, the gunshot ruined the trick that they seemed totally into.
Bro, insanity. You know, everyone shows up, active shooter, Secret Service, very activated. Thank God, it seems like no one was badly hurt, aside from the shooter.
And the shooter wasn't even badly hurt.
And yeah, that's when the party ended, obviously. Now, a few important things to note. As you can see, Vance and Trump immediately rushed off the stage. Right? Pulled off Vance. Yeah, this was handled very, very well, actually. Thank God. And thank God, the goat managed to survive another one. You dipshits keep missing. Thank God. Well, yeah. It's honestly insane. All right, the moment you hear the gunshots ring out,
and that's how you can tell that it's not staged, is because it's so horribly done. If someone on the, hold on. Sorry, one thing about my family, we have freakishly loud sneezes. I apologize for that. But I will never mute it. I just promise not to do it directly into the mic. But no, and that's how you can tell that it wasn't done by the right wing, because it was done by the left wing, because it was done so horribly. My God. But this just shows, and you'll see this later, why they need the ballroom. Because the ballroom was going to be fully safe. They do all of these gatherings that they have to the White House, and this is the reason for it, and it is a good reason. You just don't like it because Trump, he's paying for it, and people will say, why would he pay for it himself if he ever planned on leaving the White House? What? Because it needs it, because he thinks he can get it done faster and cheaper if he does it himself, because when you do things through the government, there's just leagues and leagues of frickin' red tape that you have to burn through that he can go around by not going through government means. Because when you do things through the government, you usually get it for way more expensive than it should be and way shittier quality, which is why government-run healthcare is fucking stupid.
You have absolute patriots standing in front of the President of the United States, putting their bodies on the line. Literally. I am very proud of our country. Trump immediately released
and you see this right here
of one of the hotel cameras, as you can see. And this guy is the shooter, the assassin, and he is a fast motherfucker. Which means he's not white. Anyway, so moving on. Anyway, then Donald Trump decided to say,
but yeah, he's very pale, but he's not white.
Got him alive. For those of you keeping track, this was at least the 5th attempt on Trump that we know about.
And that's how you can tell from everything I've heard. He was spotted at security. Something popped up, and he just grabbed his gun and ran through security. And it was so shocking, I guess, to these people who were trained to deal with these sorts of things, that everyone was just kind of stunned and reacted up to 5 seconds later than they should have, as you just saw.
Include the Iranian plots and the leftoids on the golf course, on the building, and Butler, Pennsylvania. What can I say? Trump clearly has a mission. To quote Job 5:12, he thwarts the plans of the crafty, so their hands achieve no success. He catches the wise with their own craftiness, and the schemes of the wily are swept away. Well, these wily schemers are getting obliterated in real time. The GOAT is still around. He posted these 2 images, which, I mean, obviously, that's pretty insane. I don't even know. Bro, colossal W by the Orange Man. Thank God. And honestly, one of the craziest parts is watching everyone's reactions to all this. Right, this was Robert F. Kennedy Jr. This was him just sitting there, absolute gangster. As this was all going down, he was just kind of sitting there, letting it happen. Stephen Miller, he's grabbing his wife, shielding her with his body to protect her, and Secret Service is shielding him, a father. Obviously, the left is being like, Stephen Miller hiding in a secret officer's bosom like a little bitch. Yeah, he's getting protected by Secret Service. What a loser.
And people who call people a bitch for having bodyguards. Look, with the exception of kids like we've covered who go around slapping people and let their big, burly, usually black bodyguards stand there and they act tough behind them, those are the only bitches that use bodyguards. The rest of them have them for good reason, like this. I would love to see these guys in an active shooter situation, for the only fact, well, I mean, I wouldn't actually love to see it because most of the time they are the active shooters. But you would kind of just want to see how these guys would respond. They're so tough when they're behind their keyboards and their screens, but then get out in the real world on some violence that's not being conducted by them or their best friends. And, yeah, just watch the whole facade wash away. Kind of like when Fresh and Fit offered to, said they would fight Alba and Preach, and they're like, yeah, okay, we'll fight. When can we come down to Florida? And they're like, oh, we can't just fight about everything.
Am I right? Anyway, obviously, this is the Palestine News Network. I don't know if anyone's surprised. Palestinians have never actually heard of the idea of putting yourself in between the enemy and your children. Normally, they use human shields. So this is like a huge twist. This is like Palestinian 9/11, witnessing that people don't act exactly like they do. That's crazy. Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. Right, this is as it's going on. Bro is just wandering. He looks like he's gonna I'm not gonna lie. Bro looks like he's gonna go beat that guy up himself.
That would be
just
dope to see.
wandering around. It's crazy. Anyway, and that's basically what the entire gang's been doing. President Trump wanted to come back to stage for the show to go on. Insane. Bobby Kennedy stayed seated head high while everyone else dove under tables. Stephen Miller, while Secret Service agents tried to evacuate him, did not let go of his own protective cover of his pregnant wife, Katie. Legendary courage. The men I want running this country. And honestly, the leftoids could never. Not only could they never, because, I mean, let's be real, people don't really want to assassinate leftists, because normally, you know, thou shalt not murder is a right-wing policy. The left actually doesn't believe in that at all. This is the party that celebrates the murder of Charlie Kirk to this day, that celebrates Luigi Mangione as some sort of hero that just murdered a random guy on the street, a father, just because, why not? Celebrated by every leftist on the planet. It's because they're immoral psychopaths. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm covering this so nonchalantly. Don't worry, I'm going to get to the leftoid crash outs in a bit. Don't you worry. But I am being very nonchalant about this for multiple reasons. As it says in Psalms 21:11. Though they plot evil against you and devise wicked schemes, they cannot succeed. Ultimately, look, man, this is just my perspective. You can disagree or whatever. I think God has some sort of plan for Trump. I really do. I have never seen how everything just falls into place at the right time for such unlikely events to keep happening. To keep
that does
Trump
seem to be
around,
the case, right?
alive and strong, with every bit of evil in the world getting thrown at that guy. Look,
I mean, I'm not particularly religious,
big,
and I'm not
fan
some
of Trump's personal life choices.
Yeah, same here.
I'm not a fan of the corruption in government. I'm really not a fan of the whole Epstein fiasco. I'm really not a fan of his personal, you know, infidelities through life. But that man has a mission. And it's pretty insane to see how this is just normal life at this point. Yep, another leftist trying to murder Trump. It's just normal, I guess. We're somehow supposed to share a country with these immoral psychopaths with zero ethical grounding for anything that they do. And we're just supposed to coexist with these people. Like, we witness it again and again and again. Look, I get death threats in my inbox, in my email, every single day. These guys would kill me, absolutely, and they'd celebrate my death. They would celebrate it for years, just like they're celebrating Charlie Kirk's death to this day. While this all went down, a protester who rammed President Trump's vehicle motorcade while the shooting took place, of course, was wearing
attempted
a keffiyeh,
to ram.
Obviously, duh. Of course she was. Duh.
Is that a keffiyeh?
The Palestine do-rag.
Okay, so it's not just a scarf. It's...
Ready. Stay behind the perimeter. Do not press that gate.
Yeah, many such cases. You wear the terrorist scarf, and all of a sudden that happens. Crazy.
Nothing like a pretentious white woman in a keffiyeh
to. Was there at that event was Erica Kirk.
And this part was something that's
she lost her husband to an assassination earlier. And so she was crying, sobbing her eyes out, obviously confronting the most unbelievable PTSD anyone could imagine. She had to witness her husband getting murdered in front of her, and now she has to witness another assassination attempt. And she's sobbing, begging to go home. It's just unbelievably heartbreaking. Like,
and two things. One, why would you record someone bawling their eyes out? Look, I'm not the biggest Erica Kirk fan. She's not my speed of people. Not to say she's a bad person per se. Just, I don't know. And anyone, I don't know. There's something off about her that I just don't like. Maybe the conspiracy theories are getting to me. However, okay, people who are posting things like this, like the whole Drewski thing, is awful. Does he have the right to do it? Yes, 100%. Should everything be acceptable in comedy? Yes, 100%. But of all the things, why her? Specifically, a grieving widow, despite what you may or may not think about her. This is a grieving widow. I've never seen anything with her and Charlie together, really. But I know Charlie was very proud of his family from everything that I've seen and heard, which would stand to reason that his family was also very fond of him. And just the fact that people are giving her so much shit. Like, yes, I understand she had the most to gain. But her last name is Kirk. It's like it was his organization. Whether or not he actually did the day-to-day runnings, or if he was just the figurehead that got all the money to come in, he was basically the main marketer, the spokesperson. She definitely do that job, and she has been. Is Turning Point the same organization it was? No, not by any stretch of the imagination. But the fact that people are saying
Like
this
it really
next
is.
bit,
But for some reason, the entire internet feels the need to hate her now. All right, the most performative woman who ever lived, because she's sobbing during an
yeah,
assassin.
she was present during an assassination attempt, triggering the memory of her dead husband, who was assassinated less than a year ago. What was it, like 9 months ago? Now, if even that. Like, what are we talking about here? This is tragically sad. And, you know, one, what's this asshole doing standing here just filming things during all this shit? But two, would she have even seen the camera after this? I mean, me personally, I would notice, but I'm freaking paranoid. I mean, most people everyone has their phone out for everything these days instead of, you know, calling the police during certain situations. But I don't know. It's just it's just not classy. Did I just say that? Oh,
Assassination attempt
I hate myself.
while her husband was just assassinated less than a year ago in front of her. Bro, this got 50,000
It
likes
wasn't
and
in front of her.
13
She
million
wasn't
views.
actually there.
This
but
is unbelievable evil. You know, Deuteronomy, what was it?
Semantics.
Exodus 22:22 is all about how God will strike you if you harass widows. Like, we are dealing with demons. No, Nux, you're not allowed to, with broad strokes. Broad strokes, you can't do this. It's demonizing a lot of people. Well, there are a lot of demons. Erica Kirk was crying while leaving the scene. CNN. Limfao says polling USA. Lol, that's the funniest thing in the world. Wow. Giving Erica Kirk assassination CPSD is
look,
so
and
funny,
I will say
actually.
this. Look, Trump says things I disagree with all the time. Right here, Michael Knowles saying political violence is not a both sides problem. It's not a fringe problem. It comes from the mainstream left. And then Destiny and all his infinite wisdom, posted that Donald Trump said Robert Mueller's dead. Good. I'm glad he's dead. He can no longer hurt innocent people. President Donald J. Trump. Look, I don't think that the president should say this. I don't think that anyone should say this. But the left posts shit like this all the time. I mean, you're going to see later where someone said, during his life he was right-wing, but at the end there he leaned left. Which is, I mean, it's worth a chuckle, but it's horrendous to say that. Like, a few years down the line, or if you guys were friends of him, because I'm fucked up like this. Like, when my grandma died, and my grandma was one of the most important people in the world to me. She was one of the few people who accepted me exactly how I was. Like, I'm off. I'm weird, mildly autistic, whatever. But she always pushed me to embrace who I am, and I wish I had listened to her sooner, and be who I am fully. But as she was laying there, embalmed, in her casket, I noticed she looked like Bill Nighy from Underworld and Love Actually. And I go up and whisper in my cousin's ear, who's just as fucked up as I am. And I said, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yeah." I said, "No." I said, our grandma looks different." And she said, "Yeah, she does. What are you talking about?" And I said, "Look at her." I said, "Now, if you love Christmas, go on and let it snow." Because I'm a big fan of Love Actually. She's a big fan of Love Actually. And she knew exactly what I was talking about. And you know how on the Muppet movies, when they're trying to express shock on the puppets, and they just have their eyes, they do them just perfectly on those? She did that face. And she's like, "You cannot say that in front of Grandpa." I was like, "I'm not a monster. This is just for us." But it's like stuff like that, sure. But saying it, and this person you'll see later, just comes up and says it to, I think, Alex Stein. And yeah, Alex Stein is a bit of a whatever. But anyway, we'll get to that if we get to it here in a little bit. But this is not an equal comparison. One, Robert Mueller died of old age. Like, he was 81. He died of old age. That's it. Natural causes. It's a bit different. Okay, this is not political violence. Now, this rhetoric isn't good. It isn't good for the president to say this. But it's not the same. It's not even in the same ballpark.
43,000 likes.
Like, this is cricket in a
Understand,
baseball
this
field.
Is who they are, man. I know that showing this to you probably upsets you, as it should.
What does that mean? It's not to be
exactly
taken seriously.
No
one should take
You're up against
cricket
these
seriously.
people,
I don't
and,
take baseball
and
seriously,
for some reason,
but
society's
cricket's
telling
farless.
you to cohabitate with them, that we need to unify with them, that we need to come together with them. We don't. We need to destroy them. Without violence and fully legally, they need to be destroyed. I hope they wake up and come to God, but I have a feeling that Minek Kirk Poppy is not going to do that, personally.
Look, and this retard right here, giving Erica Kirk assassination CPTSD is so funny, actually. She wasn't even there, bruh. She saw this shit on Twitter. Her husband was murdered. The father of her kids was murdered. That by itself is enough. You have to be, look, I don't know if any of you, like, some of you have been broken up with, okay? Someone you lived with left, or you had to make them get out. Have you lived in that place without them there? Everything reminds you of them. Everything. Now, multiply that times, like, at least 100. Because not only are they not here anymore, but they're not anywhere anymore. You will never see that person again. And it didn't end badly. More than likely, they had a great marriage. More than likely. I mean, you could believe the Candace Owenses of the world if you want. If you do, you're retarded, and I feel for you. But wouldn't it just be PTSD since it was a one-time event and I am a stupid bitch who should be shot and killed? What? People are just awful, man.
Maybe I'm wrong. I pray I am, but I doubt it. This is like actually unbridled evil. And this isn't just the fringe left. This is the majority of the left. At this point, if you're a leftist, you're either a retard or you're evil. And there really isn't any other option. I get into this discussion with, like, a lot of people. My wife told me, you know, it's possible to be, like, a good person if you're a leftist. And I said, no, it's not. And then this happened. And I showed her some of these tweets.
I still, look, do I think these are good people? No. But do I think you can be of the modern left and be a good person? I think it's very possible. Like, I've never been part of the modern left, but I have been part of the far left before. And it's all just like between, and it goes beyond like peer pressure. It's more just, I don't know, between indoctrination and social pressure and the whole bit. And this is all some of these people know. A lot of these people have it pretty damn good. And some of the poor people that these people use up as a shield or a reason, I mean, they get sucked into it too. I mean, if you were poor and a bunch of people who wouldn't normally talk to you or include you started including you, I mean, wouldn't you want to be a part of that? At least some part of you? I mean, I wouldn't. There was a time when probably, but I mean, people put up with a lot of shit, like lesbians. Shout out to lesbians here. How much straight and bisexual girl bullshit have you put up with just for ass? Let's be honest here.
If you're a leftist, it means that your actual ethical system doesn't exist, and it also means that you hate God. Because
you see what I did there? Yeah. No, that's what I was going for.
Doctrine.
Thank you,
so you are the definition of evil. Definitionally evil. But I am a forgiving man, which is why I say you might not be evil, you might just be retarded. That's the other option. I always give you an out. Leftists have tried to kill the president 3 times now. They killed Charlie. They've shot up churches. Christian schools rioted in the streets. They are the party of terrorism. Political violence comes from one side. How much longer will these people be allowed to wage war on the country? Fantastic question. And that's what we're witnessing. We are witnessing this. These are immoral people that do not view thou shalt not murder as a sin. They just don't get it. Right? You look at the Wikipedia page on Trump assassination attempts, and it should radicalize the shit out of you.
Yeah.
2016, incident at Dayton. 2016, assassination attempt at Las Vegas. 2016, Reno gun scare. 2017, forklift attack at
ricin poisoning.
Ricin poisoning attempt. 2020, escort from press briefing. 2020, more ricin poisoning. 2024, Butler, Pennsylvania. 2024, Palm Beach, Florida. 2024, security incident. 2020 at Coachella rally, assassination attempt in Iran. May 2025 death threat. August 2025 death threat. 2025 National Labs golf course. 2025 Air Force One security. February 2026 Mar-a-Lago Secret Service shooting. 2026 Mar-a-Lago no-fly zone violation. 2026 House corresponding to issue. What are we doing? You ultimately you missed again, motherfucker. All right,
yeah.
You're gonna keep missing.
Pretty much. I like how you make him look like the rageaholic here.
It really is. It's like this should not be normal, but it is. Now we do have update on the actual shooter. So the shooter's name is Cole Allen. And we know some things about Cole Allen. Like, for example, Allen attended a No Kings protest in California. Very excited to see leftists try to make believe this was secretly a right-wing guy at some point.
Well, and they always assume if someone has a gun that they're right-wing, which is just not the case. You see all kinds of trans Tifa members online in their little gun groups because they don't understand what the Second Amendment actually means. Mostly because they don't understand what tyranny actually is. This is not where we're living currently. If you are actively allowed to speak, and I'm not talking about someone like Stephen Colbert getting canceled because his ratings has been substantially lower than they used to be pre-COVID, like consistently. Same thing with Kimmel. Like Kimmel said something, and so there's the main channel where like NBC or whatever is there. And then you have all the little outlets who need to play your broadcast on that channel. And some of them are independent. Some of them are actually owned and run by NBC as a whole. But they don't have to. And if they don't want to play your shit, and if enough of them don't want to play your shit, then they cancel your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. It's not censorship. It's you fucking up and breaking the rules that were in place before President Trump was ever in office.
It's the most Reddit manifesto of all time. Hello, everybody. I may have given a lot of people a surprise today. Let me start by apologizing to everyone whose trust I abused. Yada, yada, yada. Blada, blada, blada. On to why I did any of this. I am a citizen of the United States of America. What my representatives do reflects on me. And I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, traitor coat my hands with his crimes. This is literally the quintessential Reddit manifesto.
He hasn't committed any crimes while in office. Now, whether or not you believe he actually did the other things,
this is exactly
it's not even the case.
Rhetoric that
he hasn't
comes out
committed
of
any
your
crimes
favorite
while in
leftoid
office.
Podcaster. Now, the craziest part is you actually read the actual the rest of it while I'm discussing this. I go over my expected rules of engagement. Administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, they are targets. Prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Why not Mr. Patel? Why not Mr. Patel? If it's because of the Epstein stuff, Mr. Patel, in my opinion, lied under oath about the Epstein stuff. So why not Mr. Patel? Why is the only guy you're not targeting the Indian, but you're targeting all the whites and Jews? Because he's a free Palestine nutcase. Duh. Bro went in there for Reddit upvotes on his assassination. This is absolute insanity. And we are literally allowing this shit to happen because our government refuses to crack down on people that are calling for violence constantly online. All right, attempted assassin Cole Thomas Allen, 31-year-old male, California. Oh, it's a registered Democrat. And also, by the way, get ready for this one. He's a teacher. He's a teacher in California. He's a school teacher.
I'm sure he's a lunatic who's pushing all kinds of propaganda.
Now, the biggest twist of the day was the fact that this is what he sounds like.
College student Cole Allen developed a prototype for a wheelchair emergency brake.
Oh, what a wholesome chungus. And then he tries to murder innocent people.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground.
Holy soy boy. Oh my God, what a freaking bitch. Reddit voice, absolute.
It's so petty.
Now, how could Trump and the Republicans in that room say assassinating leaders is wrong only a month after they assassinated the Ayatollah? It's very simple. Oh, we're at war with Iran.
And also beyond that, the Ayatollah seized power years ago. He was never voted in. They don't live in a democratic state or a republic or anything. They live in a religious dictatorship, which is another reason why I will never understand why people are so against the Iran thing. I understand not wanting to be involved in another war, but I'll never understand why people who are pro the Ukraine skirmish aren't pro this. Like, we're funding the Ukraine. Did I say UK? I meant Ukraine. Skirmish. The war, whatever. But this, mostly military targets. A few civilian casualties. Most of the casualties, we didn't want Israel to become Greater Israel. No, I've been against Iran, at least the regime there, for quite a while. Um, no, I watch Nux because he's fairly based. I don't think things because Nux thinks them. I think them, and therefore I watch Nux. For the most part, I don't like that he, calls people, things or anything. What has the regime done to us? They've funded terrorism throughout the Middle East. They've funded assassination attempts of Donald Trump. They've funded all kinds of... They've killed hundreds, if not thousands, of American soldiers throughout the last 47 years. I mean, what do you need?
A war that we're fighting because they, for 47 years, have killed us. Directly through their proxies, through their roadside bombs. They have killed us. They've chanted the death to America. They're trying to build nuclear weapons to kill us. Therefore, we're at war with them. You kill your enemies when you're at war.
We're not fighting for Israel. Just because Israel also benefits from an action does not mean it's for Israel. Do you really think that Donald Trump is a puppet of Netanyahu? Look, I don't like Netanyahu. I think that this war needs to be ended so Netanyahu can relinquish power so they can have actual votes. We are fighting for Israel, clean break memo. No, we're not fighting for Israel. You think we are because you're probably a Candace Owens watcher, or if you don't think Donald Trump is a puppet, okay, that's great. If you think that, you can either continue to give me engagement and I can debunk you as best I can with all the head injuries I've had. Oh, you're what are y'all called? The oh, I forget. Like I've got some respect for Nick Fuentes. I think that he was Groiper. There you go. Yeah, no, and look, you have every right to believe whatever you want to believe, dude. But at the same time, I mean, you have the right to be incorrect about things, and that's okay, dude. Like, I understand. Fuentes makes some good points, but for the most part, and especially when it comes to Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, the fact that Nick Fuentes will be like, "Come on, guys, that wasn't Israel," says a lot for his character. Like, I really do think that he believes what he says, and I've given him mad props for that. I don't think he's a shill like a lot of people say he is. I don't think he's in the same category as a Candace Owens or a Tucker Carlson or anything like that. I think that they're plants. I really do. I've thought Candace Owens was a plant ever since she came out as a conservative, and I've never liked Tucker Carlson, even when he was, I guess, normal or whatever. I think it's been a long psyop, and not just because his dad was a Fed or whatever. But no, I've got respect within reason for some of the things that Groipers do and say, but at the same time, I don't blame everything on Israel. And again, just because Israel also benefits doesn't mean that we're doing it for Israel or we're in Israel's pocket. Okay? They're the little Satan, we're the big Satan, according to, the Iranian regime. I mean, I think they have a lot of power, and I'm not a pro AIPAC guy. Look, like, I think Israel's a good ally, but if I ever thought that they were actually controlling the country as a whole instead of just being highly influential through corrupt organizations like AIPAC, I would be completely on your side on this thing. But you're not going to get me, bro. Like, but I do appreciate and respect your thoughts on this. A good ally that killed our state. Bro, are you really bringing up a 1960 oopsie? Like, oopsies happen. I didn't get myself. Like, you're bringing up. Look, you're bringing up a 1960. They thought one of our ships was an enemy ship. No, I don't cry about the Holocaust. I think it's brought up too often by the left and the right. I think the fact that everyone calls Trump Hitler is them completely misunderstanding history. But I don't deny it. Like, it happened. But also a lot of, I think, what was it, 6 or 8 million Christians were killed. They have never fought a war with us and didn't help save the... Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. Like, literally with the exception of us getting the guy from the jet that crashed, it has only been Israeli boots on the ground and other Middle Eastern countries. What are we even talking about here, dude? Anyway, I'm going to start back on the video.
Are you saying that the left is at war with the right? Are you saying that the Free Palestine people are at war with the government? Because if so, I don't want that to be the case. But your terms are acceptable. Now, the Giga twist, before we get into...
Dude, even the prime minister, or whatever the hell you call the leader of Lebanon, came out, and what's the name of the terrorists that are shooting Israel from Lebanon? He's even come out against them. I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head. Was it Hezbollah? But even he has come out and said Israel was only the Houthis. There you go. Thank you. I appreciate that. But even he came out and said they were shooting at Israel, and Israel always tries to minimize civilian casualties, which is why these guys usually try to hide behind civilians. It's terrible. And yes, they're funded by Iran. But are you, like, do you think that Palestine exists? Do you think that it should be a two-state solution, or do you think from the river to the sea? What are we even talking about here? No, I don't think that Israel's committed genocide. For those of you on YouTube, some fella named Nefet's Blue over on Kick is giving me great engagement over here. But no, there is no... No, I'm not Jewish. No, I'm not Jewish. There is no pretendicide in Gaza, okay? There's a war going on that's been going on for a long time, a war that not the Palestinians, but but Hamas started. No, I enjoy stuff like this, bud. It keeps me on my toes, and I very much appreciate the engagement.
So, like, the coverage of this, the ultimate twist is the fact that there's this one Twitter account called Henry Martinez, who tweeted Cole Allen at 9:07 p.m. December 21st, 2020.
Hamas isn't done for. Hamas is very much still active,
whatever.
and it's
All
not
you have a lot of,
civilians
like, bot
fighting
accounts
Israel.
that post random shit all the time. Random shit gets posted on Twitter. But what if I told you this is his only tweet? This is the only tweet in the entire Twitter account. The entire Twitter account only has this one tweet saying Cole Allen, the name of this assassin, and that's it. And that is the only thing on the entire account. And it's a guy wearing a tuxedo at a tuxedo
and he
event.
just said Cole Allen?
It seems pretty weird. Now, but what if I told you it gets weirder? This was his only post. What kind of MK Ultra psyop is this? So if you actually look at his banner over here, you'll notice some really interesting connections. All right, so get a load of this one. All right, so this is the banner.
Oh, I saw this.
But it kind of seems like that photo fits very well, and once you see it, you really can't unsee it.
And this is one of those things, like, in the 90s, we had these, they were sold at Sam Goody, where I'm from, but in a lot of places, you would see these little pictures that were mostly, like, digitized or just a spattering of colors. It looked like modern art. And if people said, like, if you looked at it, if you go cross-eyed, if you just let your eyes go to sleep or some bullshit, you would actually see a really cool picture. That's basically what these are. And I wouldn't have seen this beforehand, but now that they've superimposed the other one over it, I mean, you kind of see it because there's, like, where the faces would be. And you can see, like, the hand there and, like, the what would be a flag, I guess. But
now I'm not.
again, what's that thing where someone suggests something and it just kind of stays in your head? I think that's just what this is.
Or anything, but that's scary. Breaking X account with the handle of Henry Martinez left millions of users in awe after it was revealed that the only post he uploaded to X on December 21st was the alleged shooter's name from the White House Correspondents' Dinner. It has also been revealed, coincidence probably, that a man with the same name of the X user, Henry Martinez, published at NASA in 2014, which was the same time the alleged shooter interned. You tell me that's not weird as shit, man. So it seems like this shooter and a guy named Henry Martinez worked at NASA at the same time. That is pretty weird. But what if it gets even weirder? So this Cole Allen that was tweeted by this account, the account header background, this weird picture over here, this header background, it belongs to a website called, get ready for this one, The Time Machine. It belongs to a website called
That's interesting.
The Time Machine. I don't know,
man.
like
this is all like Alex Jones, Candace Owens conspiracy shit, but
I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, list of United States presidential attempts. All right, let's
this
look
isn't
at the
a
data.
conspiracy.
All right, so presidents assassinated. Let's just see. Abraham Lincoln, a Republican. James A. Garfield, Republican. William McKinley, a Republican. John F. Kennedy, a Democrat. Theodore Roosevelt, a Republican. Ronald Reagan, a Republican. Donald Trump they attempted to assassinate him, Republican. Are we noticing a trend? Are we noticing a trend? I don't know, man. Are we noticing a trend? I'm starting to notice a trend. At what point would the left and the media admit responsibility for the direct correlation between their hyperbolic rhetoric and people trying to murder our fucking president? Honestly, he's just right. It's just he's not even wrong. He's just completely correct.
Yeah, let's go,
like,
Brandon.
On clockwork, here you have CNN's article: White House Correspondents' Dinner interrupted.
And they always do this. Like, and CNN's the same ones that when Trump got the first assassinated attempt. Well, the one that was the one Trump rally that they covered, mind you. And this is a conspiracy theory that I'm just kind of like, like seems legit. But they also said Trump fell on stage. No, he fell. He didn't fall. He was thrown to the ground, more or less, as much as you can to an old man, because he was shot, or at least shot at. But he was definitely shot. You can see the little bitty scar on his ear because, you know, rich and president has very good surgeons. But there is a scar, and you can see it.
Shooter fired 5 bullets at him, interrupted. It's maddening. It's maddening how they do this. Like, we are living in an ecosystem where they're all saying you have to kill the president, and then someone tries to kill the president, and they downplay it by like, oh, it was a little dinner interruption, and then they say it's a false flag and it's not real, and then they blame it on the next guy, and the next guy relieved everyone at the this is Gavin Newsom, relieved everyone at the White House Correspondents' Dinner is safe tonight based on initial reports. Free pass is voluntary, foundational to our country. Violence is not the answer. Meanwhile, the shooter was a teacher in his state.
And also, meanwhile, free press is foundational to our country. This is a guy who's passing the Stop Nick Shirley Act for exposing fraud in their government. What are we even talking about here? Gavin Newsom is probably one of the most hypocritical politicians ever, and that's because he's a retard who keeps failing upwards. Because he has cool hair and he likes to, fuck his cabinet.
Teacher who did this, as you can see, 10,000 likes, 10,000 replies. Bro's getting blasted. And
I love this guy, by the way, Kang Min Lee. This is the guy who does all those sign videos where he'll just be watching something and he'll be like, anyway, I've got this great new sign.
And no one's falling for this op, by the way. All right, like I see a lot of people online saying this. I don't think
Either
they
that
believe
or
what
I'm
they're saying.
just racist,
I
but-
think that people aren't falling for the op. People
It's
know
one
that
of
the
the
left
two.
is a violent shithole. And as much as they try to make believe that it's some sort of staged event, they all wish it was real, and they all wish it worked. It's like, oh, the event was staged, but I wish it happened, and I wish the guy didn't miss, and I wish Trump was dead. That's literally their argument. But it wasn't. But it wasn't a leftist. All right. AOC, as you can see, 3,000 likes, 7,000 replies. There's no place for political violence in our country. She literally endorses terrorists. Like, what are we doing? I am relieved the president, attendees of the White House Correspondents' Dinner are safe. Yeah, no one's buying this shit, man. Days without Democrats' domestic terrorism, and they're all doing this. A functioning democracy relies on the premise that people can express their political views freely without fear of being attacked or assassinated. Political violence is political cowardice and is unacceptable in all of its forms. Yeah. Nick Shirley says, my life has become increasingly at risk because I expose mass fraud in Democrat states where Democrats would rather defend the fraudsters than the person exposing the fraud. The rhetoric and attitude made from the party you belong to is a major problem. By calling people fascists and Nazis, eventually enough people will believe it. Then saying political violence is political cowardice is unacceptable in all forms. Is cowardice given words shouted from your own mouth. And he's right here, actually. The truth of the matter is, all these people want Trump to die. All these people wish an assassin would kill him. They're just pussies. They're too pussy to actually say what they really want. They don't believe in anything. They have no ethical, moral standing for anything that they actually preach. They'll celebrate Luigi Mangione killing a healthcare CEO. They celebrate Charlie. The Charlie Kirk assassination for me it's the most obvious case of the left is just an evil, psychopathic shithole. All right, let's be honest with ourselves. This man,
for the most
did
part,
not
I
have
agree.
Political power.
Yeah.
He was not in the Epstein files.
That's not true. He did have political power because a lot of people say that he is the reason that Trump won this last election. Which is why they killed him, because they don't need someone independently wealthy, at least, even though I know he had donors and all that shit. But from everything I saw of Charlie Kirk, he wasn't on bot. Okay, he said what he said, and he believed everything that he said. No matter what Candace Owens says behind the scenes.
Right, any excuse you want to come up with for Trump or for the healthcare CEO, you can't for Charlie Kirk. He was a podcaster, a father with a family, but his voice was changing minds, and you killed him and celebrated his death to an astronomical degree. The toothpaste isn't going back in the tube. Man, I get so much shit for calling these people out, and because I do it, I think fairly. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, there's some leftists that are mean. Leftism is a cancerous, demonic, evil ideology, and leftists are either evil or retarded, and there isn't another option. All right, and Ben Shapiro actually responded to Bernie Sanders with this image of Bernie Sanders and AOC, the two people that condemn violence, sitting with Hassan Piker, the guy that glorifies and celebrates all forms of violence. He celebrates Islamic jihad. He celebrates Hamas's rape against Israelis because that's resistance. He celebrates the murder of two random Israeli Christians murdered in the streets of Washington, D.C. by a socialist. He celebrates the murder of Charlie Kirk. He said, well, he was a Nazi. All right, he'll celebrate all this shit. He'll celebrate Luigi Mangione executing a healthcare CEO because he did.
Real quick, and Hassan Piker's beliefs made me think of something. Because a lot of his beliefs, as we just demonstrated a little bit with me and some of my interaction in the comments, it seems that a lot of the Fuentes crowd seems to agree with Hassan Piker on a lot of things, apparently, at least when it comes to Israel. I really wish that the left-wing people who want to break away from the Democratic Party because of what it's become would break away and form their own party. I wish the same for Republicans who don't like where the Republican Party has gone. I think we need 4, maybe even 5 political candidates. I really do. And I really, really, really think I don't know. Something's got to change because I don't want to do like a parliamentary system. I mean, I kind of do. But I think that there should be some kind of gathering of political structure, kind of like parliaments do. I also want people to start having all-out brawls in Congress. It would be hilarious, mostly. And I also think it would help get some of the older people out, so they wouldn't have to get in these little fistfights anymore. But then I wouldn't get great things like everything John Kennedy says. But no, it seems like the Groypers especially seem to agree with Hassan Didi bin Laden Piker on at least a few key issues. Not on everything, of course, but I don't know. I think if we had broader political parties, like things that were more fine-tuned, and then we had to kind of make concessions within those parties and actually verbalize those disagreements on either side of the political spectrum, or however it would be divided, to make any kind of functioning government, I think that would be more productive in the long run. It'll never happen, but I think it would be a lot better. I think if the Groypers broke off and formed their own political party, I think if people who didn't like the extremist of the Democrat Party, all the people who pushed Trump over the line on this last one because he brought in liberals like Tulsi Gabbard, like Kennedy, like Bobby Kennedy Jr. I think if they formed their own political party, I think it would be a lot better. I'm not talking about independent. I'm not talking about libertarian. I'm talking about what Elon Musk is talking about. I really think that Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, Bobby Kennedy, Tulsi Gabbard, I think they should form a center-left party, or I don't want them to call it the American Party, but basically the American Party. And I think it would probably get a lot of traction, especially with those key figures behind it. I think they represent a lot more of the base of America because they're not on the far fringes of either of these other two political parties. But that's just me.
Didn't like him. So you're gonna sit here and you're gonna do these like little talk shows, and no one's gonna buy this shit, man. Hakeem Jeffrey says, thank you for the swift law enforcement action to protect everyone from gunfire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, praying for the safety of everyone who remains in harm's way. Violence and chaos in America must end. Oh, really? It must end.
He stokes so much of it.
19,000 replies. All right, must end. Must
See,
end.
Cat Turd
As he
is pretty
continues to
based.
tweet about maximum warfare everywhere, all the time against Trump. All right, your campaign statement is maximum warfare against Trump. Like, what are we even doing here? We can't take you people seriously.
Yeah, it's just like we need violence, we need uprisings. Hey guys, we got to stop with the violence and uprisings. If they even condemn it at all.
He doesn't say he's grateful Trump wasn't harmed. Political violence is absolutely unacceptable. Except you don't believe that. You compared impeaching President Trump to prosecuting Nazis.
So he was in the Navy, and then after the war, because he had a law degree, was a lawyer, they made him the assistant to the chief prosecutor of the Nazi war criminals at the Nuremberg trials. So he actually, after the war, prosecuted those people, and it was a huge event for him. And he told my two big brothers and me, if you see something wrong in the country, make sure you fight it.
Yeah. So we went after Nazis. Killing Nazis is awesome, actually. I noticed something else just like that. It's Trump. Yeah, so when you do that shit, what do you expect to happen? Like, what do you honestly expect?
And no, I don't think Trump is that. I think he's the pushback toward that. Do I think he's doing it because he's a benevolent person? I don't think so. I mean, I've heard people make that argument, but I don't think that's it. I think that we just happen to have corresponding goals. I don't think that he does it for the good of America, or at least not the good of poor America. I think that he does do it for the good of the country as itself. And honestly, what's good for America is technically good for all of us. And he will do what he has to do once the war's over. God, I really hope they don't lose control of the House, and I really hope that they don't lose control of the Senate. Mostly because I want to see just once what would happen if a president had full control of the House, Senate, and throughout his whole presidency, what could a president actually accomplish, especially one who had the welfare of the country, whether or not you think for you personally, the welfare of the country at heart?
Respect. All right, now this is I didn't even remember this because I was so like preoccupied by the obvious tragedy. Remember, Secret Service have been unfunded for more than 70 days now. So every single one of these dipshit retards that are going to virtue signal saying that they don't like political violence, which is a complete lie. They don't have any moral core that makes
Again,
them
freedom
not
of press,
want political violence.
the Stop
All right, every
McShirley
single
Act.
one of these people would love it if Trump was killed, and they're lying to you now because they know how bad.
Yes, I love Lord Nuxanor. You just missed. I had a bit of an exchange with a Groiber in the chat, Yanuka.
Looks. But they're not funding Secret Service for 70 days. Holy fucking shit, man. These people are evil.
Believe me, because, it's my life, and I want to live because I want to make this country great. That's why I want to live.
The GOAT. The best to do it. That's crazy.
Well, and it's mostly just because, I wanted to watch this, and two, like I said, I really like most of Nuck's takes on most things. That, and he is probably the most in-depth person. I'm sure Crowder will say something, put something out today, and I might go over some of that tomorrow, because he does real deep dives, and he uses mostly left-wing sources. So, if he approves of it, and it's from a left-wing source, it's probably closer to the truth than anything that we'll get. And like I said, Nux, he does a really good job for someone who doesn't have some of the connections that a Crowder would. But he does a really good job, and he's studious. He's me if I put my my mental illness to work in a positive way.
This is right after the shooting, by the way.
Very dangerous. If you take about the same 10% of 1%, much less than 1%. But if you take presidents, it's 5.8%, and about 8% are shot at. So nobody told me this was such a dangerous profession. If Marco would have told me, maybe I wouldn't have run. Maybe I would have said, I'll take a pass. No, it's a dangerous profession, but I don't view it that way. Look, I'm here to do a job. As part of the job, it is a dangerous. I can't imagine that there's any profession that's more dangerous.
He's not. Well, I mean, suicide bombing is not good, and that's one of the highest civilian honors in Pakistan. Yeah, no, man.
Respectfully, why do you think this keeps happening to you?
Great question.
Well, I've studied assassinations, and I must tell you, the most impactful people, the people that do the most, you take a look at the people, Abraham Lincoln, I mean, you go through the people that have gone through this, where they got them. But the people that do the most, the people that make the biggest impact, they're the ones that they go after.
And he's not wrong, man. He's absolutely not wrong. And he's really been cooking. He has been cooking. He went out there and he gave a great address to the people, obviously stressed out.
Mr. President, you, as well as some of us who have covered Butler, experienced another horrific day 2 years ago.
Yeah.
What felt similar? You had the First Lady with you today. What felt different? And you have another 2+ years in office. Are you concerned about something like this happening
Well, I
again?
can't be concerned. I can only get great people. They did the job, in my opinion, a much better job than Butler. Butler had one weak spot that we all know about. Somebody should have been up there. But even Butler, we had our sniper on our side within 4.2 seconds from a distance of about 400 yards, one shot, and he was gone.
Yeah. Damn, bro, it's crazy. And the most impactful people end up getting taken down. Now, one of the things that a lot of people are saying, one of the arguments on the left as to why this was staged, because Trump is going to try to use this as an excuse to build a ballroom, because the ballroom will have proper security.
It's not an excuse. It's just a good idea.
We looked at all of the conditions that took place tonight, and I will say, it's not a particularly secure building. And I didn't want to say this, but this is why we have to have all of the attributes of what we're planning at the White House. It's actually a larger room, and it's much more secure. It's drone-proof, it's bulletproof glass. We need the ballroom. That's why Secret Service, that's why...
Now, the truth is, he's completely right. There's no reason why they shouldn't have a ballroom. When you're going to have these events, obviously they need to be in the most secure location ever. Trump is ultimately the most powerful man in the world, and he should be kept safe. He is the leader of the free world. And now you have this as part of the leftoid. This is Mehdi Hassan. He needs to get denaturalized and deported immediately. He is a jihadist, Islamist, supremacist. He fucking hates America to his core. Beyond parody. Beyond parody. Trump staged an assassination to convince people to let him build a ballroom, which he is building anyway. Oh yeah, that's right. Donald Trump, he wasn't getting enough sympathy when they tried to assassinate him in an open field. So he's like, yo, maybe if they try to assassinate me again, maybe now they'll let me at least build a little house.
Real quick, the Krasensteins, you can always count on them for content. Cole Allen was a U.S. citizen. Maybe we need more to import more immigrants. And then you got people telling him how dumb he is. Lincoln Riley was murdered by an illegal immigrant. Maybe we need to step up mass deportations. And then he said, see how both statements make no sense? So he admits what he said is retarded. So I said, until you introduce per capita, and then one is way more retarded than the other. Because it's true. Because it's true. I can't wait to see what Ed Krappenstein wants to say about that. Follow me on X. I'm trying to get on there more and more. I should be able to more often, coming soon, but
He's to let me build a little building, a ballroom. I really like that. Maybe we'll work that out. Now, obviously this wasn't staged. It feels like insane to say this, but obviously it wasn't staged. No leftist dipshit is willing to go to jail for the rest of their life to make a fool out of themselves and do a fake assassination. But you're not ready for
this. You're
about to witness.
Probably,
people,
hopefully true.
They're only getting started. To understand the depths of depravity of our enemy, which is an enemy, don't be confused exactly.
Make sure you follow Reddit Lies if you're on X.
This is an enemy that needs to be destroyed, legally and without violence, of course, but destroyed nonetheless. Reddit Lies account tweets, a mass psychosis event is unfolding on Reddit right now. Basically, every comment on Reddit about the incident is claiming it was staged. Obviously referring to the failed assassination.
And they think this because while it was a good example as to why they need the actual ballroom so they don't have to rent out ballrooms or put a big stupid fucking tent on the White House lawn, tear down the dilapidated section that isn't really that used on, what is it, the East Wing, that they already tore it down. They already tore it down. And you could even put offices upstairs or on the side or something. But the ballroom's a good idea. It's a necessity. You could have all these functions in there with windows, whether they are bulletproof windows. It's basically the safe space that most of the leftists wish that they could build for themselves. Bulletproof windows, troll safe doors. Anyway.
Assassination attempt against Donald Trump last night. Entire Reddit comes together to say it's staged. Now, just to understand exactly how, I guess, hilarious in the most ironic and tragic way ever, it's like every single person that says it's staged wants it to happen and would support the killer. Just like Luigi Mangione, etc. But like...
Hold on. The other retard Krappenstein.
Watch again and tell me what you think. So Donald Trump claims that right here, he didn't actually fall. Listen to what he says.
Then I started walking with him. I turned, I started walking, and then said, please go down on the floor. So I went down.
Watch again and tell me what you think. So Donald Trump claims that right here, he didn't actually fall. Listen to what he says.
Then I started walking with him. I turned, I started walking.
And again, who cares? like who cares if he fell or not? He's an old man. He's being rushed off the stage, okay? They don't move very fast. like Trump's a guy of ego. He's got the same ego now that he had when he was 30. Of course, he's going to make little excuses to save a little bit of face. But yeah, the ballroom, it is important, because they host a lot of functions. They spend a lot of money on renting out other places and securing those places, when they could just build this secure place that Trump is going to pay for and spend a lot less money on security, because they don't have to secure a building that they don't own. It's easier to secure your own house than it is to secure, anything else. So,
like, just understand the obvious contradiction here. It's a perfect fallacy. It's this hyper-feminized worldview of just not being able to take accountability for literally anything. It's like, yes, I want someone to assassinate him. Yes, I hope he gets killed. Oh, this was staged. Oh, this wouldn't be any one of us. It's obviously a right-winger. The right-wingers are the violent ones. And they're all like this. Staged. Yup, to distract. Need a distraction. It's staged. It's a distraction. It's all distraction. It's unbelievable watching these people do this. Now, the thing is, we all know that's not true. Here's a little compilation of Democrat officials. All right, I'm going to get to streamers in a minute. You got to see Hassan and Destiny talking about this. You're not ready for the level of evil that we're witnessing, but you should be. So this is Democrat politicians calling for violence.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick them.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
Biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized right up to the right.
I thought,
funded by leftists.
You should have punched him in the face. I said, even if you lost, he insulted your wife.
Yes.
He came down the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think our...
He didn't call Mexicans rapists and murderers, okay? Not all of them. Not even most of them.
So I think
not all Mexicans, just some of them.
You should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face.
That guy, I can definitely tell that he's not as tough as his movie personas. I'm just gonna say, he's a giant cuck.
We're in high school. I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
You would have your boys hold him down, and then you would take a few shots because you're a bitch.
Some people in the face.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
Where is John Wilkes Booth when you need him?
It's like, oh, she's a comedian. It's performance art. I mean, she's never been funny, so, I mean, it kind of goes in line with what she's done before.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
A Missouri state senator is under investigation by the Secret Service after saying she hopes President Trump is assassinated.
I will go and take Trump out tonight.
I can't stand that woman.
From that cabinet in a restaurant.
Maxine Waters is the worst.
At a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on
Yeah, you make a scene. You make sure these people never have peace.
And sad.
Oh no, and yeah, the ballroom is a symbol of class and prestige, sure, but at the same time, especially since Trump is paying for it, it's a way that we don't have to spend taxpayer money on renting out other venues for things like the White House Correspondents' Dinner, so on and so forth, or even putting that stupid tent in the yeah. So female Dave Smith. I mean, I've heard Dave Smith has said funny things. I haven't seen any of them myself, but maybe his clips just don't pop up on my feed. Because I have actual funny comedians who are currently funny and frequently funny.
This rhetoric of how could someone actually have done something like this?
The domestic enemies to our voting system and our honoring our Constitution are right at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue.
They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
And that should be, everyone should take note of that on both levels, that this isn't, they're not going to let up, and they should not.
I'm pretty sure that was the same interview where she said that it was a debate. I don't know. It was a debate. It was a debate. That's why I said that Joe Biden was a white supremacist and a sexist, because it was a debate. I don't know. What do you want? Proving that she only ever says things because she thinks they'll be popular.
If you think we're rallying now, you ain't seen nothing yet.
And for those of you that don't know, that was Portland. This last bit was in Portland when someone said, "Hey, that's a Trump supporter," and someone ran up on him and popped him in the back of the head. And the guy was just walking down the street wearing a MAGA hat in Portland. And this is why the Jussie Smollett thing could not be true. Because this is in Portland. If you can't walk down the street in Portland with a MAGA hat, you sure can't do it in Chicago.
Yeah, so obviously
Anyway.
the tolerant...
Real quick, sorry, going through X. This is a guy who I really liked on The Good Place, saying a special message for people who got the Acolyte canceled. Renew the Acolyte hashtag. And Nerdrotic said, "You're welcome." Me, I had to take it a step further. I had to say, so the writers and promoters, because it's the writers' fault for making a shitty show, writing a shitty show. It's the people, basically all the showrunners and the promoters. I guess I should have just put, so the showrunners. I mean, that's what we're talking about here. I'm going to like my own shit on that too, because, you know, for engagement's sake. I only do it on X, but I do it. My God. Anyway.
Left, ladies and gentlemen. So, are we really supposed to be surprised? This was Jimmy Kimmel's immediate reaction on his show to an assassination attempt. A very serious thing, by the way. You know, because we're witnessing a lot of assassinations, specifically against right-wing people. Yeah, you keep seeing violence against right-wing all the time because the left actually doesn't believe in a very central tenet of right-wing politics, which is thou shalt not murder. They just don't believe in it. All right, so obviously they do it. Right, it's like, it's crazy. Yeah, no, who could have thunk of something like this?
Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow.
Yeah, hilarious. Just really funny stuff, honestly. Oh, and it's crazy how they're just terrorists. It's crazy.
And I love how you can broadcast this on TV.
I'm a very interesting guy. I have a weird personality. I'm a terrorist. I want to kill people that I don't like. Anyway, that's leftist.
And if Trump. let me say this: if he gets that pulled from the air, if the censors, not Trump, if the censors try to get him taken off TV, or at least that episode pulled, he'll blame Trump, which is stupid. It reminds me of pro-Palestinians keep saying false flag, then celebrate attacks on Jews. No, exactly. Exactly. You can't claim that things are false flag or this or that, and then also celebrate attacks on Jews. All it does is diminish anything that would be seen on your own cause. And you can see all these kinds of things with, this is a nice little segue.
This is here, John
White
Wilkes
American,
Booth, if you could hear
mostly
us.
women
John
or
Wilkes
feminine
Booth,
women.
if you can hear us, if you are with us, please. John Wilkes Booth, if you're listening.
Can you imagine being John Wilkes Booth and you successfully pulled off an assassination of the president and you get summoned into the year 2026 by this obese troll?
Let me get this straight. Dumbass! Have a fully reloaded shotgun, but you chose to use a one-bullet...
We're not even sending our
That's
best
a woman
to
on
fucking
testosterone.
assassinate. Because what the hell was that? Lee Harvey Oswald
Maybe they should drop you on them like a bomb.
would never, bitch. John Wilkes Booth would never.
Today was like...
Is this the bitch who hadn't got off her couch in a very long time? And then there's this one.
this close to being the best day ever.
Also, the person that at Trump at his rally was exercising that right that all those Republicans were fighting for. So
What, to shoot a random firefighter?
The right to bear arms. That is not what this is. Okay, that is not what this is. Will it probably be equally illegal if we do actually get a fascistic government? I mean, probably, but it'll be a lot harder to get in. I will say that the argument that Trump is running a fascistic regime is something that shows how coddled you are in your life, to where someone who tells you no is a fucking Nazi.
I forgot. That's in the Bill of Rights. This is in the Second Amendment. It says you have the right to shoot random firefighters at a political rally.
It's coming. We're all gonna wake up one morning.
Why is it the craziest looking people in the
grab
world?
our phones, and that fucking headline's gonna be right there.
This looks like Nick Nolte converted.
You and I have a loaded shotgun. I'm putting it between your eyes. It starts with Trump first.
I bet she's a
and
nurse.
It goes down the line of power. So if any of you guys are
She's
coming
still on.
across my path,
I bet she's not taken down.
it will be your last.
So this
It will
is
be
the
your
thing,
last. I
is
love
that
how they
why are
talk.
People like this, why are they not getting arrested? When one or two people start saying this, more people start saying it because they think it's okay. And then you have everybody saying it, and now you have a huge problem.
God damn it, they missed again. Who doing the fucking shoot?
Pulling the trigger unless you fucking have the shot.
This whole active shooter thing in the White House Correspondents' Dinner
Uh-huh.
has got to be a setup. Somebody sat back and planned this for months and didn't get a single person. You thought
Yeah.
about this for how long and didn't hit a single person and then got
Because he's stupid. And also the Secret Service are really good at their job.
apprehended immediately? There's no fucking way. This feels like a complete stunt to me.
I think people think that this is like a Jason Bourne movie where like he's going to be able to figure it out, track out all this stuff. You know what Jason Bourne's working for? The Secret Service. You're not going to get by these guys whenever they have infinite resources and power.
This man is stunting on us yet again because so many of his followers and believers believed it the first time.
How much do you want to believe that this girl believes in horoscopes?
Most girls
For those
who
of us
have no straps do.
awoken and opened our eyes and actually understand.
I told you. That's crazy. 2 minutes.
She's just so
Because I
much
know
smarter
this
than
shit
you,
is
you guys.
staged. I know it
You
is.
know it's staged. I know it's staged because it didn't work. Again, this is the leftist Schrodinger's assassin. If it works, he
This is a
deserved
girl who
it.
has
If it
giant
doesn't
glasses
work,
but
it
never
was
reads.
staged. That's it. Oh, this is even Alex Jones.
Everybody's asking me whether or not I think the shooting at the White House Correspondents'
Yeah.
Dinner last night in D.C. was staged, and the long and short of it is no. You had too many of the D.C. police, Secret Service, all of them involved. The very small percentage of those guys are corrupt. I say right up front the first minute that I don't think it's staged. Saying, you traitor like Candace Owens, how dare you say it? I don't think Candace Owens even commented yet. You guys just froth. Anybody that ever questions anything Trump does, you've got to do your own research. You've got to look at the facts.
I've really got to, like, if I ever meet Alex Jones or go on his show, which,
I like
you know,
Alex.
there's a possibility
90% of the time, I
I
like
will say
Alex.
that communication has happened. I've got to ask him
I
how
don't
he
agree with him
feels that
90%
he's
of the
now
time.
been outflanked. There are people who are
But I believe that Alex Jones, just like Fuentes, I don't like Nick Fuentes. I don't like a lot of the things he says, but I believe that he believes it. I don't think that he's just sowing discord and hatred for the sake of doing it or for the money. I think he actually believes what he says. Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson, on the other hand, they're bought and paid for 100%, especially Tucker. Candace Owens, I think she just does it for the clicks. That's really all I think it is. She's someone who very much likes attention, and that's all she's ever gone for. But Fuentes, I think he actually believes this stuff, and I think that the few base takes that he had after Charlie Kirk was murdered, I think that's what's really elevated him into the limelight, because he had one of the more base takes, and he has to reel back people who blame Israel all the time for everything. And if Nick Fuentes is telling you guys, I don't think Israel did this, you're nuts for thinking Israel did this, then you're nuts, because he blames it for almost everything. So if he doesn't blame it and you do, you drank that super Kool-Aid.
even more conspiratorial than he is. You've lived long enough, you've been in the game long enough that people have totally gone even past it.
Does that mean that, he's involved? I mean, just come on.
Does that
folks.
mean that he's
Come
involved? But anyway, back to our main story here.
His policies, bro, Lumfao at Erica Kirk crying. They're laughing about the woman who watched her husband get murdered by a violent leftist would be traumatized by witnessing another assassination attempt. No one's surprised. All right, so Riley Gaines tweets, "Stop trying to kill our president." Pretty reasonable thing to say. Stephen Bunnell, Destiny, responds with saying, "I have never agreed with this statement more in my entire life." Obviously focusing on stop trying to kill our president.
See, and I made the mistake of liking this comment, not reading into it any further. I thought he was just having one of his few Base take. Sorry, someone said Nick Shlomo Fuentes. That's what Nux calls him. I really do think he's an op. No, he's not. I really do think that Nick Shlomo Fuentes believes the things that he says. And if he says Israel didn't do it or wasn't involved, then they absolutely weren't involved. The same reason that I think that Steven Crowder is pretty based for using like 95% leftist sources. You know what I mean? It's one of those things to where if just like, but at the same time, people can use that same thought process for evil. Like when they saw Dick Cheney, supporting Kamala Harris, and I was just like, they're all corrupt. That's why they're together. So it can go both ways. Like Katy Perry, but
do you get it? He wants you to succeed. And no, that's not me putting words in his mouth. Nope.
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States.
This is him talking about not condemning the murder of Charlie
and this
Kirk,
is one of
and then you're gonna see
Destiny's
a clip of him saying that conservatives
dumbest
should be afraid
takes.
of getting killed in the streets.
I won't condemn anything until the President of the United States can go on air and say, all of us need to calm down.
That's right. He thinks that
and
Charlie
he
Kirk
has
gets
said that.
Assassinated.
He has absolutely
Donald
said
Trump
that,
needs to
but
say,
nobody cared.
"Everybody's wrong.
The same as no one cared.
Issue, actually.
The same as no one cared when he said, I disavow white supremacists and neo-Nazis and all the bad things. He's disavowed them all many times. No one cared. No one paid attention. You don't care. You just hate Orange Man. Orange Man bad. Mommy and Daddy loved Orange Man, didn't they, Destiny? Your son loves Nick Fuentes and Orange Man. He probably doesn't love Orange Man now, but he loves Fuentes. And he's mostly doing that to rebel against you because you're retarded.
You won't condemn
the
murder of Charlie Kirk until...
No. She goes both ways because right now she's currently... someone asking me... about Katy Perry for politics. No, Katy Perry, the singer of things like Dark Horse, Firework, I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It. Yeah, she is currently in a relationship with Justin Trudeau, the former Prime Minister of Canada. And I say Canada because I don't take them seriously. But she also recently came out. Do you remember that deaf lady from John Wick 2? Ruby Rose. From John Wick 2 and from that really crappy Batwoman, the first season of that show on CW. She recently came out and said that Katy Perry once put her crotch in her face and pulled her panties to the side, and Ruby Rose projectile vomited. So Katy Perry's equally, if not more disgusting than her former husband, and is just a gross human being. I like Russell Brand. I don't like that he did that or that he tried to rationalize it or anything. I mean, he was 30 and the person was technically legal within the state, so he didn't do anything legally wrong. But it's still, man, like, come on. But anyway, moving forward from gross people.
Donald Trump says something.
I'm a YouTuber. Leftists and Democrats have been condemning and turning down the temperature. Condemning violence, turning down the temperature.
I love how it's like his idea of turning down the temperature is every time something bad happens, they make a tweet saying we condemn violence, and then they just go on their shows.
Yeah.
And then they just call for violence every single day, all day. Like that. That's literally what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with immoral monsters. We really are demons from free reign.
I mean, kind of.
They'll use your words to manipulate you. Why should I ever trust the word of someone who doesn't believe in thou shalt not murder, let alone thou shalt not steal? They actively promote stealing and looting and all that shit. Their words mean absolutely nothing to me, to be honest. Pouring fuel on the fire every single day, all day, for years and years and years, a decade. The entire Democrat Party at this point is essentially just a big orgy of saying Trump bad, all right? And then something bad happens, and then, they point at the fire that they lit, and then they're like, I condemn this.
for a decade. Donald Trump can't go on TV and say, all of us need to calm down.
He has.
Can you tell me why he cannot
Why
tell
would you
his
expect
side
anybody,
to calm down?
Destiny?
You
What?
can't answer that. Can you answer that question? Why can't
Can
Trump
you
go on
answer
TV
this
and say,
question?
all of us should be less violent?
You need conservatives to be afraid of getting killed when they go to events so that they look to their leadership to turn down the temperature.
They are.
The issue is
That's what that right there is why there were not that many counter protesters, if any, at any of the No Kings rallies. But mostly because when you label something a No Kings rally, you're protesting nothing. So there's nothing to counter protest. If you are out there protesting that you don't want kings and we don't have a king, then no one's going to go out there and correct you, retard. And there was still violence because they were doing illegal shit and people tried to arrest them, and then they got more violent.
right now, they don't feel like there's any fear.
I love how he says turn down the temperature because there's violent rhetoric on both sides. On the left, they literally want you dead and they want to kill you. And on the right, they just kind of don't want that to happen. It's both sides, guys.
Like, I don't know. It's like memes. It's just memes to everybody, I guess.
It's memes. Conservatives need to be afraid of getting killed in public. It's just memes. He got his entire channel demonetized for this one, I'm pretty sure. Anyway, Hassan Piker, this is his reaction to the shooting.
Wait, they started running. Shots fired? Shots fired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner?
Look how excited he is.
Oh my God. Oh my God, look.
He's so excited.
What the fuck?
Is this it?
This is exactly what he wants, by the way. All right, don't let the what the fucks confuse you. All right, don't let it confuse you. Is this a good time to mention the Democrats' new darling Hassan Piker says that he wants the blood of his political opponents to run in the streets and recently justified the murder of an innocent father because he ran a health insurance company. And Hassan responds to this: "We don't even have the details of what happened yet." Are we being serious? Are we being serious? A guy shot at the president of the United States. Obviously, it was a leftist. Oh, what are we doing here? Yeah, and these MFers are already using this opportunity to try and blame me. Oh my God, he's actually fucking retarded. The president used the most violent rhetoric ever known to man. Perhaps that's why it's usually his own supporters trying to shoot him. That's right. Obviously, his supporters support him so much they try to kill him. Like, you can't even, like, discuss with these people. It's like they're like, you need to unify, we need to get together, we need both sides to turn the temperature down so we can become besties. No, we can't. We literally cannot become besties. How are you ever gonna rationally reason with someone that thinks that Trump it's his supporters that keep trying to kill him? How are we even supposed to, like, engage with that? This dude literally supports every terrorist organization on the fucking planet, and then when terrorism happens, he's like, another right-winger. And I love how, like, the president's violent rhetoric is like, we will end a civilization, and then Iran immediately makes a peace deal because they're scared. It's like, that is the president's violent rhetoric, true. Hassan and Destiny, these two guys, they both go on, like, all these shows, these college campus tours, these college speeches. Zero security at all. All right, none of them have any security. Charlie Kirk had so much security, and they still managed to kill him. All right, and the craziest thing is, we all know why. It's because there isn't going to be some right-wing guy that just goes and kills Destiny. That's just not going to happen. Thank God. I don't want it to happen. Don't get me wrong. I do not want it to happen. But I'm confident that it won't. Again, this is Hassan Piker.
Well, my understanding is that the property owners who have properties there choose just not to rent it at all.
Yeah, kill them. Kill those motherfuckers and murder those motherfuckers in the street. Let the streets soak in their fucking red capitalist bloods, dude.
Largest leftist political streamer on the planet, by the way. All right, this is him advocating for Trump's assassination.
A little too excited.
You actually wrote
no, he really
this,
was a little too excited.
It was a great video where you talked about,
and this specifically.
Someone has to do it.
Someone has to do it. That's
talking about killing the president.
Donald Trump.
Yeah.
And everyone laughs because they all know exactly what he means.
Everyone knows exactly what I mean.
We should disagree with him or we should kill him because we disagree with him. Orange man bad. Yeah, fuck that guy. It's popular to say that, right, guys? You like me now? You like me? Are we friends? Are we friends?
They do. Everyone does. Everyone does.
Fucking lunatics.
I'm so cool and edgy. I'm calling for the assassination of the president, but I'm using cool emojis to let you know what I'm exactly saying, instead of saying the words, the magic words.
Which is, I think.
Someone said Hassan said he plays Pragmata off stream. I believe him. I believe he plays it with his pants all the way down. I agree. Hassan Piker will play these games that people don't want him to play, and he'll play them offline, and he probably has his pants off. Not to say that I, have my pants on when I stream, but you can't see it, and not for the same reason. But it's mostly just because, I haven't left the house yet, and the clothes are just, warm. But no, and he did the same thing for Hogwarts Legacy. When Hogwarts Legacy came out, he said, well, I'm not going to stream it, but I am going to play it because I love Harry Potter, but I'm going to stand in solidarity with the people who said I shouldn't buy it. He's a fair weather protester.
Saying the N-word, that's bad. We should kill you for saying the N-word. Saying that you're basically trying to get someone to assassinate the president of the United States. Oh, wholesome chungus. I love democracy too. Zoran Mamdani, pro-terrorism. Political violence is unacceptable. I'm glad the president and his guests are safe. Yeah, all right. Yeah, really, bro? Really? Like, what are we even doing here, man? Like, these people are all absolute fucking jokes. All right, so, President Trump said we need to build the ballroom because they could have, like, a secure location that they could actually have these sorts of dinners without, being worried about assassins and shit. Pretty reasonable. Hassan's like, oh my god, it's a false flag, guys. Oh my god, it's a false flag. It's so false. He's let himself almost get murdered so he could build a ballroom, guys. Just to be clear, the theory that the leftists are running with is that Trump administration somehow convinced a registered Democrat to volunteer to go to prison for the rest of his life so they could use him as a patsy for a third-staged assassination attempt, one that they apparently believe was concocted mostly to justify building the White House ballroom that's already being built anyway. That's the theory, by the way. In case you were unaware, that is the theory we're working with. And the funniest thing is, like, they're all coming up with this, like, absolutely... Leave the conspiracy theories to the right wing, guys, okay? Please. What are we fucking dealing with here? This is toddler conspiracies. But the truth, Nuke, is they don't even believe these conspiracies. I think they just say them. And, they try to repeat them enough times until it becomes part of just, like, the public dictionary. It just becomes the public vernacular of these retards. They'll say it enough times until the mass psychosis sets in and they just start believing it. Because the thing is, they all want him dead. They all want him assassinated. They all want the assassins to succeed. They would all celebrate the assassin that actually does succeed, if, God forbid, it does happen. So why? In their own worldviews, do they really think that all of these are staged? Unless they don't. The third worlders probably do, but they don't. There's no way. 22% of liberals under 44 say it's okay to feel happy when a political opponent dies compared to 6% of conservatives their age. That is like such a big twist. It's almost like it's ideologically based. It's almost like ideologically, leftists are just, I don't know, fucking evil. Anyway, this is Hassan Piker.
Again, that's leftists, not liberals.
I
mean, he said that a Japanese game with
murdering
a
people
is dangerous.
who are guilty of his subjective view of social murder.
He says it's dangerous, and he says that anyone who plays it has some weird fetish or something like this. Either he said it, a bunch of people are saying weird shit like that online right now, and it's just like, no, it's not a fetish. Just a lot of people, especially older people who may not have kids, or younger people who want kids, hopefully the ones that come from good families so they know how to treat kids. It makes them want to have a kid. It makes them want to take care of something. That's not weird. It's like instinctual. I don't get it.
Engels wrote about the concept of social murder.
Social murder is not a real thing. It's gay and it's fake, and it was created by dipshits and retards. Social murder is not a real thing.
And Brian Thompson, as the United Healthcare CEO, was engaging in a tremendous amount of social murder, the systematized forms of violence, the structural violence of poverty, the for-profit
poverty is not violence.
paywalled system of healthcare in this country. And
thank God for this country's healthcare. That's why, people in Canada and in England, they send their patients to America because our healthcare is so much better, and we don't have the bullshit communist healthcare like they do in Canada and England, where they basically die before getting an appointment.
the consequences of that are tremendous amounts of pain tremendous amounts of violence, tremendous amounts of deaths, and that.
Remember, this guy supports Hamas terrorists and the Islamic regime in Iran. Okay, this guy supports Hezbollah, who killed 650,000 people in Syria. All right, does he care about deaths? Like that's the funny thing. Like, so many of these people, like, they don't actually believe in anything. Like, their morals are flimsy and evil. That's it. They have nothing. They have absolutely nothing.
Was a fascinating
and
story.
You'll see at some point the switch will flip, and you probably don't believe me right now. I'll be real. I'm trying my best to radicalize you guys. I am. Oh my God, the alt-right pipeline. No. You've reached the end. You've reached the end of the pipeline, my guy. They're evil, and they want you dead. Okay, and at some point, the switch is going to flip, and you're going to be like, holy shit, the blue retard cartoon guy was actually right the whole time.
And I will say that conservatives do need to take back the term alt-right, because it was eventually given to actual, like, Nazis and shit, when originally that's not what it was. It stood for people who were right-leaning, but weren't like the rhinos, and they weren't the establishment right. They were an alternative to the right. They were of the right that wanted actual conservative values, and a lot of people started to say that they were alt-right. And about a year and a half after people started saying that, it basically got stamped on people from CNN and MSNBC that it was neo-Nazis and white supremacists. Like, I saw all this happen in real time. I've never been alt-right. I've never been of the right, really. Only if you consider the chart of the what is it? Hold on. Only if you consider the chart. Like, this is basically me. And this is my fellow liberal. And the only thing that I don't agree with about this chart is that you have basic conservatives, and the conservatives should move just ever so slightly to the right as well, to where they're basically here, because conservatives have been forced to liberalize over the decades. And they'll just be like, hey, what's going on? Because that's basically what it is. Conservatives have become a lot more liberal, or at least accepting, over the last 20 years. And you've seen a little bit of going back on that recently, because the left has done this. But this is me right here. And just like he wavers a little bit, like the center, I'm still not conservative. I'm not of the right, but I'm seen as such because all of my friends did this. Because I don't know when it happened, but all these so-called punk goth people got absorbed by the mainstream. And around here, just a little bit over time, starting at probably closer to like 90s, 2000. And I'm not going to lie, I was a little more over here because I grew up in the Bible Belt, so I tried to fit in for a little bit because my parents begged me. They're just like, can you try to like our friends' kids? And I'm just like, they're chuds. I don't like them. But I tried. It didn't work. So here I stay. But like all the punk, the goth people, they just took off to the left because the mainstream beckoned them so. And they're somewhere between. Most of them are right here. Let's be honest. Not everyone gets right there, but everyone teeters a line. And these people are okay with this for the most part. But it's absolutely insane. And you'll see these same dipshits put out something saying that, oh, the right's gone far to the right. The right's done this. Ben Shapiro, okay, someone who's fairly prominent in the conservative sphere, even though he's ousted most of them, rightfully so, when it comes to Megyn Kelly, Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson. He's a little heavy on Nick Fuentes. I understand him being a Jew and all, but they'll try to say the exact opposite, that the right's gone crazy and that they've shot off to the right. No, Trump's been a liberal his whole life. He's got a few conservative things that, and those things are pretty based, the right to free speech, the right to bear arms to preserve said right for free speech. But yeah, this is absolutely insane. And there's another one that's pretty good. I don't have it queued up, but it's the one where the guy will push you, and then the person on the right will catch you because they were on the other side of you, and they'll be like, "Why are you being friends with those bigots?" It's like, I'm not. You pushed me here.
But you'll see.
For me, because Americans are very draconian about crime.
Americans are draconian, unlike, you know, the Islamic Republic in Iran, where they executed 40,000 of their own people just because they didn't like them.
And punishment. They're very black and white on this issue.
God, I wish they were more draconian. I wish they were more black and white. Absolutely.
And yet, because of the pervasive pain that the private healthcare system had created for the average American, I saw so many people immediately understand why this death had taken place.
You know, I don't support someone murdering Hassan Piker in the streets, but I would totally understand it if someone did. Because of the social murder that Hassan Piker is propagating constantly. So if someone did go murder Hassan Piker in the street, which I do not endorse, I don't want it to happen, don't get me wrong, I would totally understand it. I would totally understand it. Because he's a terrorist. The border. Don't forget the biggest influence on the left was on the New York Times podcast this week, talking about how political violence is rationalized. Pretty cool stuff, huh? Isn't it weird how that happens? Wow, it's so wild. So weird that Donald Trump didn't stand up, ask for his shoes, definitely raise his fist and say, fight, fight, fight. Ha ha ha! Ha ha ha! These people are insane. Staged as fuck. Don't shoot, I'm retarded. Prove it. Yeah. Yep. Now, this is a journalist who was at the White House dinner tonight. Saying someone needs to do it with 1.1 million views. Taylor Lorenz, an actual journalist, in quotes, who was there. I don't know how this is possible. I don't even know what we're doing here. So this person says, first false flag got him elected, so he's just spamming it for building renovations. And again, I don't think these people even believe this. I just think they say it. Just to be clear, of course, this is Hassan Piker's editor, much to the surprise of no one. Don Lemon said this on the Correspondents' Dinner, and this is insane. He said this right before the attempted assassination.
Let's talk about the White House Correspondents' Dinner. If you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And that's why I am not in that room tonight, even though I was invited, because I don't want to sit in a room and pretend it's normal and sip champagne in black.
Did he plan the attack? Question mark. I'm just asking questions.
Tie and ball gowns, pretending that this is normal when it's not. This is not normal Republican versus Democratic politics.
This is a guy who felt the need to break into a church with protesters simply for the fact that someone there was a member of ICE. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was one of the, whoever's just behind the pastor or priest. But still, they broke into a church during service and loudly protested and interrupted church services. If they did this to a mosque, they would be labeled terrorist or they were, Islamophobic or monsters. But because it's Don Lemon and because they were doing it to conservatives, it was okay. It was okay. Or not conservatives, Christians. Technically all religious people are conservative, but only one's propped up and another one is only used when it's convenient to them. They don't care about Jews unless it was someone who wasn't Islamic attacking Jews.
Totally agree. It's good versus evil. Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you so much. Yes, true.
The Trump regime is trying to take away press freedom.
How is he trying to take away press freedom?
They are trying to kill the First Amendment.
You're trying to kill the president. Are we being serious here? Are we being serious? The majority of the country elected Donald Trump to be the president. These people have been calling for his death for like 10 years now. All right? They tried to debank him. They tried to jail him. They banned him from Twitter. They banned him from YouTube. They banned him from Twitch. They tried to kill him. And Trump is really upset when people slander him. Okay.
They don't believe in the First Amendment. They don't believe in freedom of the press. Otherwise, they would not be arresting reporters. They would not be...
They're not arresting reporters unless the reporters are doing illegal things. Like, this is insane. Like, this is actually like the Hamas argument. It's like, I'm a Hamas terrorist, but I'm wearing a press vest, so therefore you're not allowed to arrest me. It's like, okay, dude, get the fuck out of here. What are we doing here?
Searching their homes. They would not be taking their cell phones. They wouldn't be trying to investigate them because they write a story that you don't like about your girlfriend. All of those things. I can't believe the White House Correspondents Association invited them to be in that room. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You have to take a stand. And if you're in that room, you are co-signing this. You are complicit in normalizing something that should not be normal.
All right, so anyone that's around Trump vaguely is co-signing it. Does that language sound familiar to you? It might. It might if you were paying attention. Because if you read the actual manifesto of the assassin, get a load of this. Get a load of this. Secret Service. They are targets only.
Hold on, real quick. So Kyle Kalinske, another retard, he's up there with the Krasensteins. So Scott Jennings said the reporting is now clear. A left-wing lunatic came to kill the president and his team. We have a violence and rhetoric problem on the left that must be acknowledged. I just had this debate on CNN where Kyle Kalinske said Trump has called the left the enemy within, scum, terrorist, vermin, radical, lunatics, demonic, I haven't seen a lie yet, evil, fascist, Marxist, communist, again, communist. They call themselves these things. Garbage, the enemy of the people, the enemy within. You said that twice. Treasonous, animals, degenerates, Jew haters, lowlives. Shut the fuck up, you smug closet case. Very classy. And then I said, and how many conservatives have killed or attempted to kill any leftist? How many conservatives are saying who's going to do it when it comes to any... when it comes to any Dem politician? I mean, and that's just true. You don't see any of that. You don't see any Republicans trying to kill a left-wing anything. Their activists are fine. Okay, all you ever saw the Proud Boys doing was fighting Antifa in the streets. Who was it that the Proud Boys were fighting? All of these things that the Proud Boys were doing in the streets. There is plenty of video of them only fighting Antifa members, because Antifa members will come with bike locks and bats and anything they can get their hands on, except for guns, because at the time they didn't believe in guns. They do now. It's absolutely insane to me, bro.
Only if necessary, and to be incapacitated non-lethally if possible. Hotel security, not targets at all if possible. And same with all these guys, etc., etc. I would still go through most anyone here to get to the targets if it were absolutely necessary, on the basis as those people chose to attend a speech by a pedophile, rapist, traitor, and are thus complicit. But I really hope it doesn't come to that. This is what the assassin wrote in his manifesto. Just by the fact that they're normalizing Trump, I could kill them now. It's pretty insane watching this happen. It really is. It really is insane. Because, like, I knew that this was the case. And I'm just being proven right, unfortunately, again and again and again and again and again. And it's all of them, actually. It is all of them. Ed Faggotstein tweets, was the shooter at the White House Correspondents' Dinner trying to kill the media, whom Trump attacks on a daily basis? This is, like, the ultimate gotcha. It's like, oh, yeah, we'll use rhetoric like kill the president. But the president uses rhetoric like the media keeps lying. So, obviously, both sides are using rhetoric. Again, this is exactly what we're dealing with. This is Hassan Piker supporting Hamas terrorist rapists.
Murderous militants went in to a music festival and murdered hundreds of teenagers in cold blood, and often massacred and mutilated them in ways that we have on camera. And that is deeply traumatic to me.
Do you think that I think that it was wholeheartedly justifiable?
I think certainly you haven't been very clear in your condemnations at times, and I've watched what you've said.
I think it's important to understand the historical context.
God, look how little his head is.
Into which Palestinian terrorists decided to...
Sorry, I remember when Hassan Piker was actually Jax. I know this is off topic. I apologize. My ADD is kicking in. Look how little this guy's little bitty baby head is.
Rape and brutalize, murder, and kidnap women and children.
Of course, but
violent resistance.
There's no context for murdering hundreds of teenagers, is there?
I think that
targeting and murdering and raping hundreds of teenagers.
Yes, I think there is. Yes.
Yes, he thinks there is. Context is important.
I think that it's important to understand the context in which violent resistance has evolved, whether it be Hamas or whether it be any militancy.
There's time for nuance, and there's also time to say something is unequivocally evil, and something is unequivocally unjustifiable. But to actually fix this conflict and gain trust with people, you need to say that unequivocally about the murder of hundreds of teenagers at the Supernova Music Festival, their mutilation and often their rape. And I don't know why you can't say that.
These aren't
good question.
Barbaric monsters.
Yeah, they are. I'm happy they're dead.
Yeah, people who rape
These
and kill
are
people aren't
horrifying atrocities
barbaric monsters.
that they did, right? But that it is not coming out of a place of this antiquated anti-Semitic tendencies. Or
They literally state that they wish all the Jews in the world would move to Israel so that when they kill the Jews in Israel, they'd kill all the Jews in the world. You're going to tell me that that's not anti-Semitic? It's like, what are we even doing here? Like, what are we even doing? We need to whitewash terrorists that badly?
That they wanted to go out and do mass rapes.
By invading from the Gaza Strip into Israel.
Yeah.
Do you think that they were not motivated by anti-Semitism, given that they were murdering citizens in...
Absolutely not. I know that it literally is in the Hamas charter that there will be a time where the trees and the rocks shout and scream, "Hey, warrior of Islam, there is a Jew hiding behind me. Come and kill the Jew that is hiding behind me." And then the warrior of Islam will go behind the tree and the rock and kill the Jew that is hiding behind the tree and the rock. This is literally in the creed of Hamas. You're going to tell them, they're cool with Jews. They get along really well with Jews. Absolutely.
No. That is remarkable. The slogan of the Houthis who you so admire is death to the Jews.
I know, and I've been very critical of that as well.
Very critical of the slogan. But I love the Houthis. This is what we're dealing with.
Well,
I don't know if
critical enough not to platform somebody and call him a sexy pirate.
And this is a person that has...
If you talked to an IDF soldier and they said, "Oh, I don't hate Palestinians," you would critically engage and examine that. But you do not critically engage and examine with this individual.
This is true.
And instead, you
because an IDF soldier in many circumstances is living in similar conditions to someone like myself. So I treat someone in the Western world with Nazi ambitions very differently.
No, I think this is interesting because it suggests that you don't have a moral universalism. When we talk about the murder of gay people en masse,
Bro's just getting murdered by this random fucking British kid.
When we talk about, for example, Tibet's oppression under China, or when we talk about what Hamas has done to gay people.
I will say this kid that's totally stomping on him looks like he just had a chocolate bar and it was delicious, but he is stomping on him.
China conquering Tibet. That's another one of his takes.
Or what they do to Jewish hostages, you enter this contextual blather. And it strikes me that these...
Because you want to know why? You want to know why?
It's because he supports terrorism.
Because Israel has killed significantly larger numbers of gay Palestinians than Hamas has.
God, I love the argument. The argument is so good every time. It's like, yeah, Hamas declared war with horrible things, but Israel fought back and won the war. So that makes Israel worse. Because if you look at the numbers, Israel should have totally let Hamas kill 70,000 Jews so that then they can kill 70,000 Palestinians. All right? But since Hamas terrorists are ineffective retards, aside from being barbarians, they only killed 1,500 Jews. So therefore the Jews should only limit their killing of Palestine. Do you understand the level of retard we're dealing with? All these justifications, they're all lies. The numbers don't matter to him at all. He supports the death of every Jew in Israel, for example, because he supports the terrorist organizations that chant from the river to the sea. They want to kill every Jew between the river and the sea, which is everyone in Israel. So these are lies, all right? And they all do this. They all do this shit every single time. Every time, without fail. They're like demons from Freeran. They use words to manipulate, trick you, and destroy you. That is why they use words. They use words that hopefully you'll care about so they can pervert them to rape you with them. Because he would support the death of all the Jews.
This is perfect timing, and this is where I'm going to end on. So Ben Shapiro posted this and said what he said. We've already covered it during this very stream. A literal terrorist credited you for his radicalization, you fucking loser. Look, people can say that you're the reason that they did something bad. That doesn't mean you actually did it. Just because you say a thing, unless you're saying go out there and do a thing, they can credit you all they want. It doesn't mean anything. But he, however, you've literally supported terrorists and even compared a literal terrorist to Luffy, you fucking loser, saying his exact same thing back to him. Hassan Piker is beyond the pale. He is gone. that he has never been any good. Even when I was a big fan of the Young Turks, him being on there was pretty much what started turning me off of the Young Turks. That and, you know, finally being around a bunch of normal conservatives that aren't from my hometown, where people just do things because they're bored and there's nothing else to do besides use your whatever authority against people, drink, and do drugs. One more comment, it's because he is an inbred confirmed by his uncle. Yes, that's right. Cenk Unger, this guy's uncle, has literally said that his parents are blood related. It shows. It shows in a lot of the things that they say. It shows in a lot of the violent outbursts. It shows in the fact that the only thing that this guy says anytime anyone disagrees with him, or is a refugee from Vietnam talking about the communist regime for Vietnam, all he can say is, suck my dick, I don't care, I hope everything that happens to you, all the bad things in the world happen to you and only you. Anytime a trans person comes out against him and says that he's not doing anything good for the trans community, he says the same thing to them. Anytime a black person comes in his comments and says anything that he's doing isn't helping the black community, he says the exact same thing. He doesn't care about you. It's all for clout. It's all for clout. That's why he is diminishing. Okay, he stands for nothing. All he stands for is, okay, he doesn't stand for nothing. He stands for terrorism, and that's it. And if it helps terrorism, he stands for it. So that's why he uses all of these other left-wing causes to help support his terrorist cause. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I've really got to run. I've gone way over. Thank you for all the engagement today. Thank you to Yanuka, and thank you to even Nefet's Blue. Look, buddy, we disagree, but that doesn't mean that we have to hate each other. It doesn't even, we don't have to like each other. I'm sure you're a cool dude or whatever, but like I said, we can disagree. We can all come together, and we can even have some kind of discourse, as we had earlier in the video. If you want to go back and see that, it's within the first like 20-30 minutes, I want to say. But I appreciate everyone for stopping by. We'll see you tomorrow morning with more. Until then, I've been Alfie Animus. This has been the Associate